All right, we're back here for day 2 of Build. If you didn't see the first video, you can go watch it. It's still up there. You probably won't because you have ADD, and I know that. I mean, just statistically speaking, you're a millennial Gen Z motherfucker, so you got ADD, and you ain't gonna do it. If you feel called out, go watch the video. Prove me wrong. So anyway, this here is day 2, so we're gonna start off this video. Here's me on the train, going about my business, heading to the place. And we're back at the incredible Jacob Javits Center. It's beautiful. And today, on the second day of Build, we start off with President of B&H. She gets a little speech here. Now, mind you, I did mess up this part of the convention. I learned a few things. One, it's better if I don't use a microphone attached to my camera because the speakers were set up in the middle of the room, not at the center. So my cardioid microphones were pointed at the front and caught almost no audio. So I had to take out my microphone, use the onboard audio, which is actually pretty good on the ZV-1. However, at the beginning of the day, I left it on auto mode, so it would switch between listening in the front and listening in the back. So I got caught a lot of times laughing and making little remarks instead of the actual speaker. I didn't really catch on to that until the halfway point of the day. So a lot of the footage here with the president is actually gone because I also thought that I could close the screen and it'll keep recording. And it actually, when you close the screen in order to keep the camera from overheating and having shitty battery life, it actually just stops recording as soon as you close the screen. So I lost a lot of footage that I thought I captured. I thought I captured like an hour of footage. Turns out no, I caught significantly less. So this is the bit of footage that I have left over. Here's the president of B&H.
Best partner in any way possible to help you share and spread your story and the stories you're trying to capture, and ultimately bring much needed light into this world, something that's much needed these days. 50 years ago when we started in 1973, and no, I'm not 50 years, I'm only turning 30 now, it was simple to us. It was be honest, treat your customers like you want to be treated. And 50 years later, I'm proud that the same principles remain. Well, much has changed over these 50 years, from 8mm to 8K, from analog to digital, from DSLR to mirrorless, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And what once took days, if not weeks, to capture, edit, spread, and only share it probably across the country, now takes minutes to capture and spread and view by millions and tens of millions of people across the world. Most things, I believe, still remain the same. Stories to be told, fortunate and unfortunate. And our mission remains exactly the same: to partner and support every single creator, and again, with honesty and integrity. I was walking this floor. I was walking this floor yesterday, and many people stopped me.
The part that everybody wants to see is Casey Neistat, and he had a few interesting things to say. Something that really stuck with me in the direction of my company where I wanted to bring it. It's really good information, so I'm gonna play this for you.
The first 2 videos and we're like, okay, that's making more money. And then naturally I came up with this idea where I just want to do a montage where I run across the frame and in all different locations. And it ultimately manifested as that. And Nike was like, it's not that they weren't cool with us making that, they just didn't know what the hell I was doing. And I remember like the Nike executive called me, he's like, hey, that third video's doing like 4 days, where are you? And I was like, here's the thing. I'm in Madagascar right now. But we made it, and they liked it, and they were like, Casey, there's no Nike in this. You're wearing a Patagonia jacket. And the fuel band is not even mentioned. And I was like, mail me one and I'll... but anyway, I liked the video, and they didn't know what to do with it. And they just were kind of like, we don't really know what this is, we know it's good. So just put it on your YouTube channel, put it on your little website there, Casey. If it does well, great. And if it doesn't do well, we're just going to pretend it never happened. And it did really well. It was like their most watched video ever. Until their World Cup video 5 or 6 years later. And for me, like the greatest compliment I ever got about that video was I actually met Mark Parker, the CEO of Nike, many years later, and he was like, "You're the one that made that video." He was like, "I heard my assistant watching that, and I watched it over her shoulder, and I just sort of sat at my desk and thought, I gotta get out more." That impact on that guy. We did it. But why that video is so relevant to answer your question is that, like, kind of before that, there was no working with brands like that. And I think what we've seen happen and the opportunity that so many of us have had to embrace in myriad different ways, myriad different manifestations, is brands looking to leverage.
So now we're done with Casey. We're moving on upstairs. This was a genius idea right here. Actually, I was talking with David Brommer, who is the cool looking guy that looks like a biker turned photographer. He actually came up and talked to me in the middle of the convention space, and he was saying how his team came up with this idea for some kind of activity to get all the people together. He didn't want to do a raffle because he said raffles suck and it takes a long time, and you're calling out numbers for people who aren't even there on the floor, so you got to go through a few numbers like, okay, this number, are they here? Are they here? Okay, no, they're not here. Next number. So they settled on this, which is a competition to see who can pack up the camera bag fastest, which I think is fucking genius. That's such a good idea. Like an Olympics for photographers. It's such a great thing. So I recorded it here. Watch this. It's pretty funny.
Pack a bag. Easy enough. Hands go up. 3, 2, 1, begin. Go, 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 go. As fast as you can. Player 1 decided to cap and pack. Player 2 wants to cap everything first and then throw it in the bag. Keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. You got it.
Yeah, he's doing
Hands
both
go
at the
up.
same time.
Yes, player 1. Player 2, that was awfully close. 17 seconds. You're beating your own record. 17 seconds. You did that.
All right, and here is a speaker that I just happened to walk in on. I didn't know who he was. I wasn't planning on seeing anybody, but I figured, oh, let me go see another speaker, right? And I happened to actually walk in on Art Wolf, who actually has top billing for the entire Expo, above Casey Neistat, who's in number 2 position. You see here. So you see there's Art Wolf, and then as I scroll along, Casey Neistat in billing number 2. So if that says anything, this guy is a big deal. And it was a really interesting speech he gave.
Players and creating that element of interest is such an important part of us delivering. I'll look for natural framing, and as you can see here, I shot these rocks on this here. But all the while, I want to be able to tell a story, so I'm thinking about my imagery from the standpoint of what can I tell a story with. And in this particular image, it goes up to about 100 degrees during the day and below freezing at night. Nothing lives there. But again, for me, one of the most magical places I've ever seen. Very difficult to get to. Requires 4-wheel drive vehicles. You have to have 2 because then you won't get stuck in it. So again, if you're doing this, make sure you're with a guide that understands it. But some of the real magic that occurs in the night. Now remember, I'm in the southern hemisphere, so the stars are a little different than what I might be normally used to seeing. And you'll notice there's 2 prominent stars in the upper left and the upper right. And I use the rock formation in the front to help me tee that up so I could kind of align that with you. So the question that begs to be asked too is, how did I light the rock in the front there? I didn't. Mother Nature did that. I had a half moon over my shoulder. Again, conditions were perfect, and yet I'm able to capture all those stars and making those alignments. You see the little slot on the left-hand side. I wanted to get that star right that was prominent there. Now here's one where I had a little man-made help. As I mentioned, we had 2 vehicles. And we asked one guy who had a walkie-talkie, he said, go over there and hit your headlights just for a second, because I wanted to capture the Milky Way. But again, without a foreground element, without that layer part of it, the image can be nice, but it's still not as interesting. So using a little creativity and a little man-made object in that respect helped me to produce that image. So the one country that I travel to the most is India. And for me, it's one of my favorite locations. I've been north, south, east, and west, every part of this area. This is in Kashmir.
So once Art Wolf was done, I pretty much had all the footage that I wanted to get. So I was looking forward to leaving, and then I actually decided to go back on the floor, and I'm glad that I did. I went down to the convention floor again because there was a few more vendors I wanted to see, and I was incredibly happy to do so because I went down to the newer booth. They have some incredible products, some really good high-end stuff for really cheap that I was just really excited about and I wanted to share. Especially they have these field monitors that are like top quality for like half the prices of the competitors, and just their top handles like with a recording button for $45. Like anywhere else it's like $130. The fact that they're selling it that cheap is ridiculous. So I want you guys to see this speaker talk about it. Bro, they're all the same thing. Like I've bought the higher quality things, I bought the cheaper things. Newer is a good brand, and I actually got to hold these things in my hand. They're the same quality as all the higher end brand stuff. You don't need to get that shit. Buy this. It's the same thing. Watch this video.
Hi, I'm Lucas with Newer. I have a few of our fun products today. Some of our side handles. All these side handles run in price from $29 to $50 or so. We have some that include record buttons. You take a Type-C cable and you plug it into your camera's trigger and you can record. That way you're holding your rig, you don't have to try and hit record. We also have it in a side handle. Oh, not this one. This one, no? Well, maybe I should find the actual, oh, here it is. Yes. Record button. We have this matte box. It can hold 2 filters. This runs about $49. As you can see, it takes 2 square filters. It clips onto your lens. You need at least a 67 millimeter lens, but it has adapters that go up to 82 millimeters. We have some of our cages here. Canon M50 cage, very nice, full-featured HDMI clip. It has a magnetic tool for all the adjustments you need to do. We have this excellent V-mount battery holder, multiple power outputs, USB, DC out. You can also charge your V-mount through the Type-C port. When you stop charging it and disconnect the Type-C, it becomes an output. So you have lots and lots of power output here. We have a nice toolkit. You're always losing those screws, right? DJI Osmo cage. Very nice little cage. We've got monitors. We have F500. This monitor is brand new. It's on pre-order right now. It's $229 on pre-order. It'll be about $279 regular price. It's touchscreen, has a gyroscope, has focus peaking, runs off a Sony MPF battery, HDMI in and out so you can send it to your capture device. F400 already on the market. It's non-touchscreen, but it has pretty much all of the other features. It only has HDMI in besides that. Yeah.
Just go with the price for the handles and stuff.
Oh, handles. Yeah, the handles are all within $10 of $45. They're generally around $45. Some are $40, some are $35. Max price about $50.
Oh, and the shoulder rig.
Oh, shoulder rig. This whole shoulder rig is $99.49. You've got your rails. You can get your V-mount battery back here. Yeah, it's a very solid rig for the price. Very adjustable and customizable. If you're going to build a rig, it's a very good place to start. You have everything you need.
This was
All right, and after that, I got to go over to Nomadic, and Nomadic makes the best camera bags I have, and I have several. I have oh my god, I'm gonna go through all the brands. Trust me, I've have all the big brands that you can imagine. Nomadic actually is the best. They charge the most money and they are the best. Like, just most well thought out design. They're bigger, they last longer, they're tougher. You can throw it around, everything is good. I can actually fit my 16-inch MacBook Pro in there fine. Their case works with it. No other camera bag does that. I have to fucking jerry rig it and do all types of stuff. The best stuff. And what this guy managed to tell me is that they're coming out with a line of luggage later, like November, October. They're going to announce it. It's luggage for content creators. Now, he's displaying here the luggage, the regular luggage for, you know, people that want to go traveling, which is also typical of Nomadic. Is really well thought out, really well designed, extremely durable materials, long, warranty. So when they come out with the content creator specific with camera pouches that you can pull in and out, it's not even announced yet, but I got the inside scoop. So this is going to be coming out later. So all you content creators that do a lot of traveling, look at this and just imagine what they're going to be coming out with soon. So watch this video.
Okay, so this is going to be our carry-on luggage. On this side, you're going to have a very large, spacious compartment. You're going to have a ton of different accessory space here on the side. You're going to have this front-loaded area over here. You got your tag. You have a very high-grade fabric here that's really built to last. And it's fit very firm, where a lot of your other luggage, it's very loose, and you can pick it up and snag it, where this is felt very secure, and it's made to be able to be slim to maximize your amount of space. On this side, what's really cool here, this is actually one of my favorite parts, is this is actually magnetic. So on your compression area, this is all magnetic. You have different sections, so you can piece this apart here and fit your down, put your clothes in, set that in, and then tighten it down to the max amount that you want. This is a very high grade, very durable, lifetime warranty case, built to last. It will take a beating. You may see a couple scratches, but it's not going to break. It's not going to snap. And it's very secure. You have your TSA lock up here for your security that you're able to program to your own individual lock and have it set up that way. You have multiple grab points here, grab point here. And you have high grade, very durable pulley. And then down here at the bottom, the biggest complaint that you see with a lot of rollers is going to be your wheels. Our wheels are very, very durable. One of the parts that we're most proud of is this is going to be very secure. You can slam it, you can roll it down the streets of New York. It's not going to snap, it's not going to break. This is going to be one of your most durable hard case luggage that you can get out there. So
What's the name of it?
this is just going to be our carry-on. It's just our high-grade carry-on.
And with that, I was done. Bro, I left the floor, I headed outside, and I took some street photography, and I got to see somebody walking a horse just casually down Manhattan. One of the weirdest things I've ever seen. This is a crazy ass city. Although you probably could also see this, probably more, in Philadelphia. That's just really weird. Just somebody walking their horse on the sidewalk. So that is it. That wraps up day 2 at Bild. I had a ton of fun. I hope you had a ton of fun. There are some more shorter videos that are going to be coming out where I focus on the individual speakers and also the vendors. So if you're interested in that, that'll be on the channel. I'm Vicente Sanchez. This is Gunslinger Media, and I hope to see you guys again. Enjoy.